I'm talking with my mouth full. What are you gonna do about it?
What a day! I'm energetic. I had caffeine because of Coke. I've had a lot of sugar because of Coke. Just had a free feed because of a work function. And I've had a bad day. A lot of problems with you people. You're gonna hear about it. Or at least hear about some of it. But for now, yes. You have a guest already. I'm Liam. Liamo All-Star, whatever you want to call me, whatever you know me as. And this is this version of reality. I'm a little pissed off. Why? Because everything sucks on the holidays. Nobody could do anything properly on the holidays. I had to take the dog to the vet, and the vet sucks. The vet wasn't a good vet. It was a different vet. It was a different kind of vet. It was a vet that didn't want to do what the vet did before. Different mantra, different ideology, different, completely and utterly different sort of mentality. I have bull terriers. They sometimes need a bit of tough love. And I don't mean that as in actually, hitting them or abusing them and that. I'm saying that they're the kind of dogs that will fight you. And occasionally you have to assert your dominance by restraining and restricting and doing what you need to do without hurting them or harming them or that. And I got a vet that didn't want to do any of that. They wanted to be calm and, cautious and get your, relax, pat their ears, calm their anxiety, this, that. It's like, when a dog is snarling, growling, and trying to bite because they don't want something stupid like their nails cut. It's stupid. Okay, you can't reason with an angry dog. So, yeah. I took it upon myself to cut my own dog's nails. I was that pissed off. And with the dog, the stupid dog who doesn't want the nails cut. Dog doesn't like to get the nails cut. Has some sort of weird phobia about nail cutting. Nail cutophobia. I don't know what it's called. Dog-cutophobia with the nails. Who knows? All I know is that whenever you try to cut the dog's nails, the dog tries to bite you. It growls and snarls and foams at the mouth. But this time, I was growling, I was snarling, I was foaming at the mouth. So I gave her what for? I held her down, I grabbed her foot, and I cut her nails. That is all. Good God! What am I even yelling about? Yeah, I need to calm down. But then, had functions, this, that, everything else. All good, wholesome family fun of functions. My goodness, the functions for my day job in between the comedy and the acting and everything else that I do or don't do that I don't really get, a lot of camera time for at times. But that's okay. Because you know why? Because I'm the old star. No, because I got nothing but a life to lose. So I just do it because I enjoy it, and I do it because I can. That's just it. But also it's good to get a free feed during your day job. You get no respect, but at least you get some free food from a bunch of people to keep you around for a day. A bunch of pizza, a couple of colleagues, and no respect among the seniors. Very recognized for a year's worth of efforts, but that is okay. You know why? Because I'm moving forward in a different direction And that means that direction will take me forwards, not backward, upwards, not forward, and twirling towards tomorrow. I may have lost my mind. Maybe that should be the title of this podcast. I may have lost my mind. Whatever the title is, I don't care. I haven't even made a title as of this recording. But it's been quite interesting. You know, being quite interesting, quite. Where you got people that you've never seen before that are talking your ear off and having a great conversation with you. And then you got people that you've dealt with day in and day out, done favors for, done all these tasks and jobs and other things. And they don't say but 2 words to you. And then when they do speak to you, it's work-related. But it's supposed to be a Christmas function. Get off your high horse and get off the job. Drop the ranks and stop with the occupational health and safety talk and hazard and rewarding. Yeah. That's. My goodness. I have had a hectic couple of weeks where I have not been able to sleep well. I've had a couple of misses with a couple of routines. I've had to go back to the drawing boards because I've tested out a couple of new routines and they didn't fly. So I'm performing at the mainstays, at the main schedule, been doing my routines that I've tested and have succeeded. But on an occasion or two, I had tested out some new comedy routines and they didn't get quite over as well as I thought they would. So I had to go back to the drawing board. But more so, I had to go back to the drawing boards and go back and find the funny again. And I believe that I have. You know, I've got my brain thinking right again. I took some time off. I relaxed a little. So I've been working too hard, trying to force things to happen. It didn't happen. I guess you could say I was trying to... I guess I probably shouldn't say that. I was trying to do something to my comedy routines that weren't ready for the funny yet. I was trying to get them to do what they didn't want to do, what they couldn't do, what they weren't comfortable with doing, what they were unable to do. And because of that, yeah. But learning curveball experience, but that's fine because I learned from it. I take it more offense to that than anything else. But in the meanwhile, I went back and I did my usual routines, of course, because the routines that I've done the entire year have been killed. They've 2 particular routines that I've done. Massive success. Excellent job in such a short amount of time. Could not be happier with those 2 routines. Excellent, perfect. They are what they are. They've done what I wanted them to do. And bloody hell. I have been before quite a few hard to move audiences. And with my usual A-grade material, it's gotten over with every audience. And this is something that people have probably already talked about and heard about. I'm going to acknowledge it right now and just get it out there because it's the topic of discussion. Crazy December. One thing that happened, because a few of the gigs that I've been performing lately that I've secured were because I was fortunate enough to nab a spot that had become vacant, that had opened up, and I've been very thankful, very grateful. And at those gigs, for the most part, I'd been performing material that I'd done before audience members who had perhaps not seen my material before, people that were obviously feeling the Christmas spirit, and that means, oh yeah, people think Christmas joy and cheer. No! Dealing with family. Gotta look for presents. Gotta go around and deal with kids and shopping centers and all that crap, and nothing's open, everything's, fuel's expensive. It's not a happy time of year, it's crap! But anyway, there was a gig, a new one, brand new, at the Manly Hotel. I'm just gonna say, impartial affair. I'm gonna say that it was actually a pretty good gig. It really was. In spite of the fact of what happened there were a couple of friendly handlers. There were a couple of people who, were a little drunk, and there were a couple of disgruntled people who took offense to certain people's material, and they alone took offense. But I was one of the last performers on the act. And what happened was I told my usual routine, which I told many times. And it's gotten over. And the last joke in the routine, which is well received, and is in, if you've heard it before, if not, I'll just say what it is without giving away the joke. It's in relation to, it's basically a pedestrian crossing joke. And it's in relation to the female pedestrian crossings and the red signal. And because in Victoria, just give away the story without giving away the joke and the whole routine. Basically, in Victoria, in Australia, for gender equality, the government went out of their way to change what was perceived as a male pedestrian crossing figure with a woman in a dress to resemble a female for gender equality. And I went into that, just sort of joked about that in the last joke, which is more of a, it's tongue-in-cheek and it's also very interpretive. You can take it one of 2 or 3 ways. And some people, they find it a bit offensive, but it's a joke, it's tongue-in-cheek, and if you personally find it offensive, then obviously you've missed the point of comedy and the fact that there is absolutely no seriousness behind it whatsoever. But it was well received by the audience. It got over, and just as I was about to salute the audience and say see you next time, at the last minute, the last second, a heckler came up on the stage, or tried to come up on the stage rather, but he came up and basically muttered, "Nah, mate, you're done." So he was drunk, he was stumbling up. I couldn't see him because unfortunately the spotlight in the eyes reduces my field of vision down to a good 2 meters in front. So by the time he got about 2 meters in front and I noticed him closing in the 1 meter gap, I had turned towards him, and unfortunately, but fortunately, instinctively, with my martial arts training, I stuck my front hand out slightly in front as a point of guard, but because I also hold a microphone predominantly in my left hand, because I usually do, hand talking with my right hand, the microphone sort of stuck out a bit closer to him inadvertently. So he got right up and he tried to grab the microphone out of my hands. Now what happened was he had a grip on the microphone, but it was closer down the base. Now, where you grab the microphone is rather important, because you grab it in the wrong spot and you jerk down at the wrong place, you can actually damage where the microphone piece meets the microphone sound cable, and it can actually damage the microphone if you're not careful. What happened was I had because I was holding the grip of the microphone center, he had the microphone and grabbed it. He was trying to pull down. I had a firm grip. He had a pretty good grip as well. Like, drunken, firm grip. Big, fat, drunken guy with a firm grip. And all this happened all very quickly at the same time. And so I didn't say anything. The only thing I was thinking was, don't let him get the mic. He's not going to get the mic. It's my mic. If he takes the mic, he grabs it, and then he takes it to show hostage. Now someone's going to have to take the mic off him. So I had a hold of the mic. He had a hold of the mic. He was trying to pull it down, but he was pulling down the wrong spot. So then I used my right hand to then secure the microphone cable where he was trying to pull down. But then I realized then he was trying to jerk it down even more. So instinctively, I released as he jerked down, as he pulled down, where he was trying to grab the mic and take a hold of it. I released with both my hands, and the mic just fell to the ground. So now, I don't have the mic, but at least he doesn't have the microphone. He's sort of mouthing, so it's like a sort of a standoff, but he's sort of taken aback a bit, because he obviously wasn't expecting that. He wasn't expecting all that to happen. I don't think anyone really was. And I'm calm. I'm not even mad. I'm not angry. I'm just focused wholly and solely on this guy right now, waiting for him to make his next move, and then that'll determine what my next move is. But in the midst of all this, my, I guess you could say, my official cameraman or camerawoman, or basically, let's just say my mother, who comes to a few of my performances and does assist with the recording of my routines for my own reviewing later, and also that I do include in the stand-up highlights on the YouTube channel. We all noticed this at the same time, and as the mic dropped to the ground, she then started screaming out at him, and in her nice and polite way told him to please go back to your seat. And I say nice and polite because maybe a couple of choice words, and maybe a level of aggressiveness, and maybe raised her voice extremely loud. But this guy was drunk. No one knew what exactly he was going to do next, but we were ready for all the hypotheticals. At least I was, my mother was. She got right into his face as he walked past, and he was trying to tell her, hey, shut up. To which then it was just a standoff, and he was sauntering back to his seat. Now, in the midst of all this, he goes and back to his seat, and only then did security that was apparently there in and out and actually come out and said, nah mate, it's time for you to go. Nah, I'm going to escort you outside. And the missus that was apparently with him was then saying, no, he's not going anywhere. To which he was just escorted out, whether they stayed or not. And then I'd already finished my routine by that point. That's the funny part about it. I was wrapping up the routine. But then I grabbed the mic and I basically, willed the crowd back into it, just sort of got back to the comedic mood. And I just basically joked around. It's like, hey, you know what? He can have the mic because he can handle the mic, but he can't handle me. Trust me, Blake. He can have the mic, but he can't, he might be able to handle that mic, but he can't handle me. And I just basically said, you know what? I better hop off the stage before I say something that I definitely will not regret. That got the audience laughing again, and I just sort of, come on, let's get the MC back up here. Hey, thank you guys. My name is Liam. I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully we don't see him next time, and yeah, that was pretty much it. It did kind of rock the show a bit, because a couple of the comedians, dare I say a couple, all of them were really startled, because this was, in many people's view, one of the worst, if not the worst thing they've ever witnessed, and perhaps one of the worst things that's apparently happened in stand-up comedy. But for me, in my personal experience, that was just Thursday. I've had a lot worse, and the fact is that, the show went all right. The crowd was okay. They liked the material. It was just this one guy that took offense to that one joke at the very end, and he took offense to a few people's material, but as he was getting drunker and as the show was getting later, he probably saw, he saw me as a target, perhaps, and, figured that it was his duty to go up and decide that I was done. But it's like, I'm done anyway. I finished my routine. Not that I said anything to the guy. So I was just fully focused. And the amazing thing is, everyone else, including my mother, who was all, she was riled up. She was going to kill him, if need be. But at the same time, if he was going to put his hands on her, I was going to kill him. And there were people, comedians and everyone alike, who were probably startled, didn't know what to do in that situation. Trust me when I say I do. Trust me when I say my mother does. They probably didn't, but they got a lesson on how to deal with it in that situation. I've risen the bar of everything that you would expect and not expect in comedy. But it was just one of those things where it's like, he just took offense to it personally. But I wasn't the only one. I was just the last straw. And I guess the key element to it all is that, as much as people will say, oh my God, that must be, you must have been, frightened. what was going through your mind. And personally, honestly, nothing. My heart rate was the same. And that's the weirdest thing. This isn't me bragging or anything. I'm talking the truth here. My heart rate was about the same as it was resting as it was when dealing with this guy. Either because I didn't perceive him as a threat, or perhaps could say because, well, maybe I'm just a bit more of a psychopath than people realize. And maybe that's just where I'm in my element, and hey, maybe, just maybe, I'm not quite right in the head, and you shouldn't be messing with me, because a person in all the midst of chaos and destruction can have a resting heart rate. I need to keep an eye on myself. Oh my goodness. But afterwards, they were asking, am I okay? Oh my God, are you alright? It's like, don't worry about me, I'm fine. How's the microphone? Is the microphone okay? Not damaged, but people were commending me, saying, I maintained my composure, I did everything, we all did the right thing. They were thanking us, they were very grateful that we handled the situation the way we did. The show went on, we survived, no one was injured, as they say, I didn't hit the guy, even though his head, and because he was a shorter guy, and I was about a little bit higher because I'm on a stage. He was the right height for me to palm him right in the bridge of the nose. And then a couple of meters away, when he was in the face of my mother, I could have fly kicked him from where he was to where I was. But you know what? Didn't need to. Didn't go to that. Nothing happened. It was really just, a little bit of a brouhaha. A bit of the ego, the machismo. But no injuries, no assaults, nothing. But it's probably as close as you can get. That's the thing. And I'm not saying at all, don't go there. I'm not saying to disparage yourself or go there. I'm saying, you know what? Apart from that, it was a good show. It really was. It might have been a bit of a different audience, but still, at the Manly Hotel, it was good. It was also the first time that they'd had a show there, so I guess there's a few teething issues there. A couple of, running of show issues and security dilemma that occurred, but I guess that's got to be with the management of the venue. I know that the manager was there and he was apologising and saying, just encouraging us to come back and everything. All the other comedians who are laughing about it. And I know that the talk of the town has been, at least for the last week or so, me and what happens. Now, what happened then was that basically, so everything I've discussed, the very beginning story of the podcast is, as of today, Friday, what is today? Friday the 15th, I believe it is. It's 15th today. Something like that. Yeah, I believe today is the 15th. I'll check, but I don't want to. So that was about a week and a day before. And what I'm about to talk about happened only a couple of days ago. Nothing bad, just fun and chaotic. My second last scheduled promptu gig, not impromptu, but prompted gig at the Brat Cave. And that was an amazing show. It was fun. Oh my goodness, I just realized that I just stopped at a petrol station to get petrol, and I didn't get petrol. I got donuts, but not petrol. Huh. Well, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's right, I'm on the drive home yet again, but I'm not gonna, get into that unless the car breaks down from having no fuel left. What a chaotic time this December is. What a great time. Haha. Nonetheless, so a couple of days ago, people are talking about it because it's still fresh on everyone's mind. It's going around like wildfire. It's like, it's nothing. It really isn't, even though it is and it isn't at the same time. It's like everyone's talking about it, and they want to know what caused it, and so explain the situation, what happens, but then they want to hear what the joke was. So I'm thinking to myself, because it was interesting at the venue because there were a lot of people there, but because it's a holidays, there were people bringing their children into the Brat Cave, and a lot of these comedians have basically, the expectation is that when you're bringing people to a comedy show, it's a mature audience, and generally there's not really going to be any children around. There were children around, so that was the start of it. A couple of comedians, including the guy running it, Red. Shout out to Red. Hey Red, if you're listening. Yeah, sort of thinking to himself, oh geez, this is going to be interesting. It's like, this is going to be fun. You know, people, if they're going to hold back on their material, or will they go forward with the Fs and the other, you know, foul language and references, etc. And that was touched upon in the audience. And you know, the families, you know, the old school families, obviously old school mentality, even though with a new family, they were sort of like, that's fine, they've heard worse. And that was cool. And so I was thinking about changing to doing the marriage equality routine, because a few people there were just there for the bratwurst. And trust me, you need to go there for the bratwurst. If you've never been to the bratwurst, you know, the Brat Cave, go have yourself a brat and a beer if that's your preference. You know, it's great, it's awesome. Cheese Kransky, everyone recommends cheese Kransky. It's a good sausage. You bite into it, you get some cheese with it. Sounds dirty. Nevertheless, we're talking about the incident. So it wasn't really so much an incident as it was just fun and chaotic. So I was thinking about doing the gay marriage equality routine to get the audience, you know, involved. But then the comedians there and everyone was like, oh, what was the joke? What was the joke? It's like, well, I guess I gotta have, you know, because I was sort of planning to do my car park routine, which features the joke that I was talking about earlier that caused all this chaos so far. And it's like, well, I guess I got to do that routine now. I was doing my routine, and there were a couple of comedians that just came, and it was fun because they were laughing. It's like I was breaking the fourth wall and just stepping out. And then as I was getting to the last joke, it's like, yep, this is the joke, guys, this one here. And then I told the joke, and it was a freaking riot. Like, they were laughing, and a few people like, oh. And then by the end of it, when the routine was done, MC back on the stage, like, you know, when I heard about him getting, you know, that heckler, I thought, man, that's horrible. But then after hearing that routine, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you know what, I can understand now. Oh, but yeah, unfortunately a couple of the families left, and there are a few people left, the comedians and a couple of you know, young ladies that were there, and it almost felt like it was a hostage situation, but it was fun because I was staying for the comedy. Everyone was still there supporting everyone else, and I think by then just the rest of the comedians just sort of breaking the fourth wall, you know, having a discussion with the audience members and that. And then it got to a bit where one of the comedians' routines, something about violence, and then one of the chicks, you know, and so, you know, is there anyone that should be punched? And then she pointed to me. It's like, huh? It's like, oh, why is that? Because he's sexist. It's like, wait, what? It's like, oh, because of his joke. And then that's a funny thing as well, because then comedian who was on the stage, I think it was Andrew on the stage at the time, it's like, oh, tell me, what was the joke? And it's just like, but it's your routine. And it's like, oh, I gotta go on the stage and tell my joke now. But yeah, then there was, you know, shout out, Richie was on stage, and then Brian, good old Brian. He's a real funny guy. He's a real character. He is, you know, and you know, he basically broke the fourth wall and through his act. It's like, you know, let's you know, topic of discussion, improvisation. You know, one person threw out, you know, animals, and then I threw out holiday drivers. And Brian's like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of Lee. It's like, yeah. So, you know, then it's like, oh, Liam, what do you want to, you know, what's there, any topic to discuss? And I basically put it out there. It's like, yeah, apparently I'm a sexist. And he just ran with it. It's like, okay, let's, so what, you know, let's get into the reason why you're such a sexist. It's the first time in my life I've ever been accused of being sexist. And it was only because of that joke, but it really isn't. But it was just in that person's opinion. And if you've heard the joke, I guess make your own mind up. There is an opportunity for you to hear that routine and that joke and everything in question. That is Christmas Eve 2017, where I will be doing that routine. I'm hoping one more time and only one more time. And the reason I say that is because I'm hoping that I can have my other new material good enough to run through the circuit and do that for a while, because I did the marriage equality routine for about a month and a half to 2 months. I've done this car park routine for a month and a half, 2 months. They're good routines, they're good to fall back on, but as a comedian, I need to get my next five. I've got other routines that I have done that I haven't done for a while. One that I did revamp a while back because I'd done it a long time ago and it got a semi-decent response, so just sort of been working on that one. And as soon as that one's good and perfected, I'll be running that one through the circuit to see just how that one plays out with the audience and how much it gets over. And a lot of other topic, because I've had some time off, because with regards to my day job, I've been injured. And the doctor has prescribed me with, rest. That's something that I don't like to do. Rest, sleep. And something interesting that came to me, because a couple of the routines, the new ones that I tried lately, because the marriage equality routine, when I first put it back out, when I came back from America, I started working, because I'd been up to about 10 routines by the time I'd come back from America. And when I came back, it was then now the decision to start working on routines. The car park routine, was actually the first routine that I came back and touched upon to just sort of test it out. And it did well. There were a couple of bits in it that, were recommended to be reworked. And I did that, and it made it, the aforementioned routine. It's become one of the best routines. But after that, I went back to the marriage equality routine, which, was it the marriage equality? No, it was the gay routine. The one that I called the gay routine at the time. Discussing gays, discussing gays and gay rights, and, poking fun at the whole, everything surrounding it, the whole hypocrisy and all that. Didn't go down as well as it did the first time. And I had another routine. I've told this before, but I'll say it again for those who don't know. Because then I had the routine I did in LA, which was the draft shortened, incomplete version that I was trying to expand to 5 minutes. It didn't quite expand to 5 minutes because it wasn't quite working. The marriage equality routine, or as I still dub it, the LA routine, which then became known as the marriage equality routine. So I merged the gay and the marriage equality routines together, and I got gold. Gold, baby, gold! And then after that, I went back to do the John routine, which got me my first ever bomb on stage, because people didn't understand what I was talking about. They didn't think I was serious when I was discussing my old driving instructor and his bad habits. If you want more story on that, go back to the episodes, the Halloween episodes, Who's John and Car Sale Nightmares, plugging my own podcast here as I close out. But yeah, it discusses that, and unfortunately didn't get over with the audience. I guess there was part of it that they just didn't understand what I was talking about, and part of it where they just didn't think I was serious. And because of that, I put it on the shelf. Went back to the car park routine, and that's the one I did recently. And I tried a brand new routine. It worked at a couple, then didn't. So I've had hit, miss, hit, miss, hit. And I had to get back to the reason, had to get back to the core of why isn't everything that I'm doing now not a hit? I had to go back to the very core of my being and find, get back to find the funny again. And I believe that I've done that, because I've been working really hard, been trying to force things to completion before their time. I've had some time off, and part of it because I've been injured with work, I've had time off and I've been finally able to relax. I haven't been sleeping though, but I have had time to sporadically use my brain very much, and I've come up with some very good material. As soon as I have completed it, I will have it out in the circuit, ladies and gentlemen, but for now, I must say that I'm probably out of speech right now. I am running out of saliva in my mouth, and I pretty much said everything I needed to say. I've got everything off my chest. I feel a little better. Hopefully you feel a little better having listened to me. And yeah, it's Christmas time. It's hectic, but you think to yourself, well, you know, Christmas time is what it is. And it's a horrible time because, you know, Christmas. But my goodness, this guy's got it bad. At least I'm not as unfortunate as this poor bastard. Yeah, maybe you're thinking that, or maybe you're not thinking that. Who knows? But, like I say, as always, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening to the podcast, listening to me rant and rave on about things in this version of reality. My name is Liam, and I will see you guys next time.